The story of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was once introduced to the world as a modern-day fairy tale. It was presented as the journey of a prince who found love beyond tradition, choosing a partner who would help him step away from the strict boundaries of the British monarchy. However, as time has passed, that carefully crafted narrative has begun to show visible fractures. What initially appeared to be minor inconsistencies in public storytelling has in some circles evolved into a much larger debate about credibility. Increasingly, sections of the media and online commentators are revisiting past events with fresh skepticism. This is no longer framed simply as a royal family disagreement. In certain discussions, it has escalated into serious allegations of narrative manipulation, unanswered questions surrounding birth announcements, and speculation that, if true, could have constitutional implications for the British line of succession. At the center of this growing curiosity are two children whose privacy has become a global talking point, Archie and Lilibet. The origin of this scrutiny is often traced back to May 2019, when Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born. At the time, the announcement was presented publicly as a moment of celebration. However, what fueled later speculation were inconsistencies in the timeline shared by official sources and the couple's reported privacy decisions. While the palace initially stated that Meghan had gone into labor in the early hours, questions emerged about how quickly details unfolded and how limited the public medical and procedural visibility appeared to be compared to traditional royal births. The usual public-facing customs, such as immediate hospital confirmations or formal announcements in customary formats, were noticeably absent or altered. Supporters of the couple have maintained that these decisions were intentional efforts to protect privacy. However, critics and online commentators have suggested alternative interpretations, including claims that the public narrative may not fully reflect the private reality of the situation. These discussions have even extended into sensitive constitutional territory. In the United Kingdom, succession rules are governed by long-standing legal frameworks, where legitimacy and birth conditions carry formal weight. Under these laws, questions have been raised in public forums about whether any deviation from traditional protocols could affect official royal status. As speculation intensified, so did online theories ranging from unconventional medical arrangements to complete rejection of mainstream narratives. None of these claims have been officially substantiated, yet they have continued circulating widely across digital platforms. The conversation surrounding Archie expanded further with birth of Lilibet Diana in California. For many observers, this second birth became another focal point of discussion due to the limited public documentation compared to other royal births in history. Critics argue that there is a lack of traditional public records, while supporters counter that the couple deliberately chose a different approach due to their departure from royal duties and their desire for privacy. This contrast in interpretation has only deepened the divide in public opinion. As speculation grew, so did attention toward the legal framework surrounding royal succession. Some commentators have pointed out that under British law, legitimacy and documented birth conditions are essential components of inheritance rights. Others argue that modern legal systems allow for more flexibility than historical interpretations suggest. Within this environment, investigative authors and biographers, such as Tom Bower, have been frequently referenced in discussions due to their critical examinations of royal narratives. Their work has been cited by some commentators as fuel for renewed debate, even though interpretations of such material vary widely. At the same time, mainstream media attention has increased, with previously fringe theories entering broader public conversation. These include claims about inconsistencies in timelines and questions about transparency. However, no definitive evidence has been publicly presented to validate these theories. A key factor driving continued speculation is silence. The couple has largely avoided direct engagement with many of the more controversial online narratives. Supporters view this as a boundary-setting strategy to protect their family, while critics interpret it as avoidance that allows speculation to grow unchecked. In the absence of official clarification, online discourse has filled the gap, sometimes with extreme and unverified theories. Some of these claims stretch into speculative fiction, highlighting how quickly misinformation can expand in a digital environment when official answers are limited. This dynamic has created a cycle. Silence leads to speculation, speculation leads to media amplification, and amplification increases pressure for response. Yet despite this, the situation remains unresolved in the public sphere. Beyond the discussions of birth narratives and privacy, another major theme in public commentary revolves around money, media deals, and life in Montecito. After stepping back from royal duties, Harry and Meghan entered into high-value agreements with major entertainment platforms. These partnerships were widely reported as part of their transition into independent financial and media ventures. However, critics argue that these deals also created dependency on continued public interest in their personal lives. According to some commentators, this has led to a situation where their public identity remains closely tied to royal association, even after formally stepping away from official roles. As a result, every aspect of their history continues to be re-examined under a commercial and media lens. Their lifestyle in California is often portrayed by critics as expensive and highly structured around ongoing media obligations. Supporters, on the other hand, argue that they are building independent careers while raising a family outside institutional constraints. Alongside financial discussions, there has also been increasing attention on Prince Harry himself. Public perception has shifted significantly over the years. Once widely viewed as relatable and informal compared to traditional royal figures, he is now often portrayed in conflicting ways depending on the narrative source. Some online discussions describe emotional strain and isolation, suggesting that the pressures of public scrutiny, legal disputes, and media attention have taken a personal toll. However, these portrayals remain speculative and are not independently verified. A major contrast often highlighted is between Harry's life and that of Prince William and Catherine, whose children are regularly visible in official appearances and documented royal events. This visible presence reinforces continuity within the institution. In comparison, the limited public appearances of Archie and Lilibet have fueled further discussion. Some interpret this as a conscious privacy decision, while others see it as part of a broader mystery that continues to attract speculation. As the debate continues, the relationship between the Sussexes and the wider royal family remains a central point of public interest. Some commentators suggest that the British monarchy has chosen a deliberate position of restraint, avoiding public engagement with controversial narratives in order to protect institutional stability. There have even been claims in online discussions that internal reviews or private assessments may have examined aspects of documentation and succession clarity. However, no official confirmation exists regarding such processes, and these remain unverified assertions circulating in public discourse. At the same time, the couple's legal and PR strategies have also come under scrutiny. Their approach has often involved formal responses, legal representation, and efforts to control misinformation. Critics argue that this strategy can sometimes intensify attention rather than reduce it, while supporters view it as necessary protection against invasive speculation. Another recurring theme is the impact of silence. In the absence of direct responses to specific claims, public interpretation tends to expand into assumptions, some grounded in concern, others drifting into conspiracy. This has contributed to a highly polarized information environment. Meanwhile, discussions about succession, legitimacy, and royal tradition continue to circulate, often amplified by social media dynamics. In some cases, this has even led to AI-generated or digitally fabricated content filling gaps where real images or confirmations are absent. Ultimately, the situation reflects a broader tension between modern celebrity culture, institutional monarchy, and the speed of digital information. The lack of clear resolution keeps the conversation alive, with public curiosity continuing to grow rather than fade. As for the future, opinions remain divided. Some believe a direct public clarification could resolve much of the speculation. Others argue the family's decision to maintain privacy is final and should be respected, regardless of ongoing debate. What remains undeniable is that the narrative continues to evolve. Whether viewed as misunderstanding, media distortion, or deliberate secrecy, the story has become one of the most widely discussed modern royal controversies. And as public attention intensifies, one question continues to drive the conversation forward: where does truth end and speculation begin?